of the press for coming to meet me. I asked to meet you because I want to speak to my fellow Ugandans and even to those outside Uganda and express my concern, deep concern, as the spouse of Dr. Kizza Besigye, my concern for him and his friend, Haj Obed Kamlegeya, who are in Luzira Upper Prison. I'm concerned because, first, in the manner in which they were abducted by security operatives, abducted from Nairobi and brought in middle of the night. They were sat on. They were two old men. They are both old men in their 60s. Had two men sitting on them for more than 500 kilometers and dumped into a military prison. Following protests, they were moved to Luzira Upper Prison. There, I'm now concerned about the plans that may be being hatched against them at Luzira Prison. Why am I suspicious? I'm suspicious because on the first day that Dr. Kizza Besigye arrived at Luzira Prison, he found the long-standing commander of Luzira Upper Prison, a man called Mr. Mbazira, handing over on that day to a new commander of the prison. Mr. Mbazira had been asked on that day to hand over immediately and to go for training. It seemed suspicious that should happen on the day Kizza Besigye arrives. What made it even more suspicious is the person appointed to take over from Mr. Mbazira, who's a senior prisons officer who served a long time and heading the biggest prison in Uganda, is now replaced by a young man who, in my view, looks like in his 30s, who went for training as a prisons officer only in 2020. If you consider that it takes about 1.5 years to complete training as a prisons officer, then that means he hasn't even served 3 years in the prison service. He's now the head of the biggest prison in Uganda. Why? Why does that happen on the day Besigye arrives? That this senior prisons officer is told to hand over immediately to a very young Munyankole prisons officer who is clearly a junior. Why? Now, as if that was not bad enough, we got information, we were informed at the prison that for a whole month, the prison is closed to visitors. Imagine, in a holiday season, Christmas season, that the prisoners there will not receive visitors because the officers are on standby. This has never happened before. Besigye was a prisoner there in 2005. He was also before that kangaroo court called a military tribunal. I visited him at Luzira Prison every 2 or 3 days throughout the Christmas season, throughout January. He was released on the 2nd of January. But we visited him. Boxing Day, I was there with my son Anselm to visit him. And there were other people visiting their prisoners. Why did they decide now that now the prison is shut to visitors? I went and saw the Commissioner General of Prisons on Tuesday. I sat in his office and we talked, and I put this question to him. Then, to my surprise, he says, no, I haven't stopped visitors. You can visit. I said, no, you have, because we've been to the prison. Then He called, he made some phone calls, and he said, no, Winnie, you are okay, you can go and visit your husband. I said, no, I'm asking for all Ugandans. Can all Ugandans with prisoners go and visit throughout this season? He didn't give me a good answer, clear answer. I left without a clear answer. But the next day, they issued a press release saying, visits are suspended, but you can bring food and leave it at the gate. I am not leaving Besigye's food at the gate without knowing who is taking it to him. What if they give him what's not what I haven't brought? Everyone wants to take their food and hand it to their person. So I'm protesting that. And I'm saying this not only for my prisoners, but for every other Ugandan who has prisoners there. They have the right, they should have the right to see their people and to give them food and whatever else they need. So, all this has made me suspicious about the intentions that the government has towards Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haj Obed Kamlegeya. I question their intentions. Why did they abduct him? When there were clear processes, legal processes for bringing them from Kenya to Uganda. And when it was also very clear that they are returning. Besigye has many cases here and he's always appearing in court. He travels, he comes and sees us and returns and goes to court. He was not a flight risk. Why did they have to abduct him? Why did they have to bring him in a prison and change the prison leaders? The prison leader. Why are they now saying for 1 month we must not see him? What do they want to do to him in that month? I'm asking. So I'm putting it to you, my fellow Ugandans. I'm putting it to the government. We are watching you. The whole world is watching you. Whatever happens to these two men, the world is watching you. You cannot do it in darkness. And I'm putting them on notice that I'm going to go to the prison, they can chase me away, and I will still come to the prison. It's my right to see my husband in prison. I know that he's not in the best of conditions. I am told by those who were able to go inside that he's locked behind like 6 levels of locks. You enter one and you lock, and you enter another and you lock 6 times before you reach a tiny little room where he's sleeping. That it looks more like a store than a room. I didn't want to complain about all of that. We were happy to wait until he goes to a proper court and seeks bail. But one thing after another is leading me to believe that these people who have abducted him have wrong intentions and want to harm him. So there it is. I'm putting it before all people, the entire world, to know that some harm is being done to these two men. Thank you.
Some questions? Without access, or is the entire mess?
He told me that I can go. And I thanked him for saying that. But that didn't answer my question, that can everyone who has a prisoner go and visit their prisoner according to the guidelines we've always had? He didn't answer that. So instead he came out with a statement, or the prison office officials came out with a statement that visitors are not allowed but can deposit food at the gate. And I am challenging that. I'm saying that's inhuman. That's cruel, and it's a change in the rules, and I'm questioning why have they changed those rules when Besigye arrives. That's my suspicion. He has assured me that I can go, but I don't even trust his word. Because they say one thing and do another. Because they abducted him. Because they changed the leader of the prison. All those things make me doubt their intentions and not even trust their assurance to me. But I'm going to test it. I'm heading there to see whether they'll let me in.
And then the last time, when was the last time you spoke?
I saw him on Friday.
How is
He's well, thank God. He's strong. He's a person who can endure hardship and who's very persevering. So he was in good shape, and I thank God for that. And I hope he can stay like that.
And then I would also want to know, did we share that condition?
No, he didn't. We didn't talk about that because for him, he's he's a tough guy. He can put up with the harshest of conditions. But I did find out because I asked those who have gone into the prison area and seen where he is. So I gathered my information from others, but he wasn't complaining. He was saying one thing he's not going to do is seek bail from the military court. He does not accept that he should be brought before a military court. So he is ready to stay on that floor in that prison, in that little store, until he is out of the military court, and he will seek bail in a civilian court. So he is ready to stay there.
This particular facility where he is.
No, as I told you, Besigye is not, he can endure. He is not complaining. He did not tell me about the conditions he's in. He just said, don't worry, I'm fine. I'm going to stay here until I can ask for bail from a civilian court. I will not, however harsh the conditions are here, I will not ask for bail from a military court. So he's prepared to put up with whatever is there.
Right. Talk about the issue of changing officers. This is something that seems to be routine in the routines of the forces.
I imagine so, but I would
but
need...
Again, you must give that cause for fear that is really pointing at maybe a clue that you've been informed that something is in there, something that is really pointing at your claim that is unsafe. What is that justification?
Don't put your thoughts in my head. I've told you that I am suspicious. And I am suspicious because of a sequence of things. First, abduction. Somebody who abducts you commits a crime. So the state has committed a crime against him. And why would I think they won't commit a second and a third and a fourth crime against him? That's one. Two, they brought him under very harsh conditions. An old man with these young men sitting on them. That is the condition they put him through. They threw him in a military jail. Then they brought him to the civilian jail because we protested. In the civilian jail, the day he arrives, they remove the leader, an old, well-trained prisons officer. They replace him with a young, inexperienced prison officer. These all lead to me to be suspicious. Then they change the rules. In the middle of it all, now they change the rules and they stop us from accessing him. So what's all that about? What's all that about? The person you've abducted, now you say he must not be seen as well? There's something wrong there. So I just want to say that I am suspicious, and if anything happens to these two men, President Museveni, you are answerable.
Honorable, you're a high profile.
Other people have to answer.
You're a high profile individual in this country.
But
and we are privy to information that there was an assassination plot on Dr. Kizza Besigye's life during his arrest in Nairobi. Are you privy to this kind of information? Have you anything like, had anything like there was an intention to assassinate him in Nairobi?
I don't know about that. Next question.
Honorable, what are you, have you been getting food supplies for home and this no-vista period to Africa? Supplies.
Okay. My suspicion is that they want to harm him. And what I'm very sure of is that President Museveni wants him out of politics, out of political contestation. It's quite obvious. It's quite obvious. Because since he started to run, President Museveni has continuously criminalized him, and courts have exonerated him. So this is not new. It's not new. From day one, when he declared he was running, he called him a traitor and said he would put him 6 feet under. That means in the grave, if you don't understand 6 feet under. So he's been threatening him, criminalizing him, dragging him before courts to answer trumped-up charges, and he gets exonerated. This is yet another of those attempts on him. So I know that President Museveni is afraid of real political contestation, always uses the most violent language against those who challenge him politically, uses force, silencing, torture. All these methods that he uses against the opposition are wrong. And this is what Besigye has suffered for 25 years. We are going through the same. But in this case, when you say, what do I fear? I'm afraid they're going to harm him. Why would you stop me from seeing him? Why? If you don't mean to harm him, why do you want him for 1 month not to see anybody close to him, family? Why? Today I'm going there, I'm taking there a letter for him to sign. Actually, not a letter, I'm taking him note paper to write in his own hand that he is appointing Martha Karua and another Kenyan lawyer to lead his team. Martha to lead his team and another Kenyan to join his team of lawyers to defend him. Because this letter must go to the law council so that Martha is given that permission to be in the courts of Uganda. I am taking it there. If they stop me, I will tell you, I'll let you all know. The world must know that injustices are being committed against this man.
According to Uganda Britain, their statement says the visitation will rise. So it's 1 week.
We thank them. I thank them for that revision, but this is not their initial position. That's why I suspect them. If they had thought out what they wanted to do, why have they changed it 3 times? Why? So even that 1 week, I want to go there to see my husband, because I don't trust them with him even for a single day, for that matter. But I'm willing to go every few days and see him. I don't trust them. They do not deserve the trust of Ugandans. They abuse Ugandans every day. They don't deserve our trust. So I am going to go there even after Christmas. Maybe I will take a tent and sleep there. Maybe that's what they want. I pitch a tent at the gate until they let me in. I could do that. I'm very angry. I don't know how I can explain this. I feel it for Dr. Kizza Besigye, and I feel it for other prisoners. I feel the same anger for how other prisoners are being treated. And it's not about them, it's about Dr. Besigye, but they are going to suffer because Dr. Besigye is in the prison, because they want to hide him from us. That's not fair. That I've told you that Dr. Besigye was a prisoner there throughout the Christmas season in 2005. Yes, they go on standby. They don't open the prison on Christmas Day, for example, but we were able to visit them throughout that season. And now, what did they come out with? That they are locking it up for 1 month. That was their first position. I protested, then they said, you can bring food and stay at the gate. I protested, and then they said, now you can come, but we'll close it for 1 week. Isn't that suspicious? If it was standard practice, why would you change your position 3 times in 1 week? Actually, even in 1 day. Why? It's not normal. If it is standard practice, it just comes in. You don't even make announcement. People know the rules. They are standard. But they are not. They've changed the rules, and they are just acting under our pressure. Now they are saying, 1 week you can't see him. I'm saying, no, I will go.
Lastly, in the previous,
And they can stop me, and I will stay there at the prison.
in the previous press conference,
Look at him now. Why are you taking me there? Why are you taking me there? I'm concerned at the condition under which they are holding my husband. Now you're trying to make me address the stupid charges they have brought against him. Wait for that day in court. You'll get the details. You will see the lies. You will see what we saw in 2006 when they charged him with treason, illegal possession of guns, terrorism, and rape, and it all fell apart. You will see it. Just wait.
okay, my name is